Hey there guys, TheMrTrails here. You know, I asked myself the question this morning, what trial do I actually like doing? Like, what trial do I feel is good at this point? In terms of the top strategy being fun, and I gotta say, I really don't know the answer. I feel like every trial has at least one thing that's wrong with it that makes it just less bearable. Karabakh would be a fun trial, except its claw hitboxes just suck. Now, they're small, yeah, it makes sense because the claws are pretty small. But why does there have to be an arm hitbox behind it? Same with its face, it has a neck hitbox. No other behemoth has these things separated. Like a Drask, the neck is the head hitbox, and the claw and arms are the same hitbox. But the front claw hitbox on Karabakh is so bad that you can hit visually the claw and you'll hit body. And the yellow part in the front, it doesn't even seem like it has a hitbox. You can be hitting that and it just doesn't get hit. These bad hitboxes combined with the Warpike not really being able to hit the claw that well when it's on the ground just make the trial not as fun for me. Oh, and you can't forget about that RNG-ish interrupt at the beginning. This is one of the few trials where you actually don't want an interrupt right away, and for some reason, I always get it. Yet on like Shrike Trial, I would never get this interrupt. Embermane's AI is completely broken, Rezakiri is super RNG on what attack it does first, and some behemoths are just too hard. At this point, I feel like there's no single trial that I just love more than the other, because they all just kind of suck. I don't think there is one behemoth that has perfect hitboxes, perfect AI, and a perfectly scriptable fight. And these elements on half of the behemoths are so broken that you'd question why they're in the trials in the first place. And I think it's pretty upsetting that it's gotten to this point where I don't feel like there is a fun trial, because I used to like doing them, and I used to like speedrunning. But maybe it's more that I've started to not like speedrunning things as much, at least when it comes to doing them really seriously. I do like myself some casual speedrunning, but when it comes to just actually focusing up 100% and doing things like I'm going insane, I just don't like to do them anymore. I can't help but feel like I just keep wasting too much of my time for not much payoff, especially when it comes to Dauntless Trials, where you basically end up wasting over half of the time doing absolutely nothing, not actually playing the game. At least in other speedrunning games where you're grinding out for a really good beginning, you should get it eventually, and even if you don't, you can just keep playing through the game and do a no reset run. But when it comes to Dauntless Trials, you could have spent 10 seconds on an attempt and your run is already dead. It can't be good, so you just might as well reset it. But that reset takes 10 times longer than the actual playtime does. Compare that with like a good speedrun like Super Mario 64, even if you mess up on the first stage, you only spent about half the time waiting for the intro, and there are emulators and stuff that will let you skip the intro if you don't want to deal with the intro, which would end up giving you nearly 100% of the time you're speedrunning playing the game. But Dauntless Trials is stuck at such a low amount of time that you actually end up playing the game for that it just doesn't feel worth it to me anymore. And I really don't think there's anything they would implement to make it better. We could rattle off tons of things that they could do, but there's probably nothing they would do. Are they a lot more playable now that modifier RNG is a lot less common to ruin your runs? Yes. But just how much time you don't end up playing the game just makes them not as much fun. So those are my thoughts on why I really don't do trials anymore. And aside from the Flameborn Quillshot trial that I can't even explain why I got addicted to playing it, I basically just won't play trials anymore. Thinking about it, another reason I probably don't enjoy trials as much anymore is because I just don't do them to help people out. Like I used to do trial carries all the time on my Twitch, but when they introduced the trial goals, making it so nobody could die during a squads run to get a perfect score, that just completely killed trial carries for me at that point, because it's pretty hard to just get a good quality consistent strategy that works just about every time, because counting on 4 people not dying at all is quite a bit to ask, especially the person you're carrying. They could die at the start every single time, and then the one time they don't die, one of your teammates dies because they missed one dodge or something. I feel like if trial carries were still enjoyable for me to do, then maybe I would still do some trials. Do you guys still enjoy the goal system, or do you think we could go back to just getting a good time? Because the goals pretty much never influence the results anyway. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to stop rambling now. Again, this is like, I thought this would be like a 2-minute video. I've doubled that. I don't want to go any further like I did last week. But I've been Trevor. I go by TheMrTrails, and I will catch you guys next time.